Today, we're talking about an invisible killer, one that lurks in some surprisingly common workplaces, like farms and waste treatment plants. It's a gas that can strike in an instant without any warning. So let's unpack what it is, how it attacks the body, and most importantly, how we can survive it.
So here's the crazy thing. Imagine a gas that gives you a super obvious warning sign, that unmistakable smell of rotten eggs. You'd think that's a good thing, right? But what if I told you that the moment the gas gets concentrated enough to kill you, that warning sign just vanishes? That is the deadly paradox of hydrogen sulfide, or H2S.
And this is not some slow-acting poison. The sources we looked at are crystal clear. It's called the knockdown gas for a very good reason. Get a lungful of this at a high concentration, and it can cause an immediate catastrophic collapse. You literally don't have time to run. That's what makes it one of the most terrifying occupational hazards out there.
Okay, so to really get why this gas is so dangerous, we have to dig into its deceptive nature. The way our bodies react to it changes dramatically with the dose, and that can lead to a fatal, false sense of security.
And this right here is the fatal trick H2S plays on you. At low, less threatening levels, you get that nasty, rotten egg smell. It's your body's built-in alarm system screaming, "Get out!" But at high, lethal concentrations, the gas does something terrifying. It paralyzes your olfactory nerve. The smell just stops. Exactly when you need that warning the most, it's gone, leaving you totally unaware that you're in mortal danger.
You know, the best way to understand the real-world horror of this gas is to look at two recent cases from our source material. We have one worker in China and another in Portugal. Both faced the exact same toxin, but their stories, well, they played out in two dramatically different ways.
In our first case, a 46-year-old man walks into a sludge tank. It's his first time doing this job. Within a single minute, he smells the gas, gets dizzy, and just collapses. Boom! That's the knockdown effect right there. It is instantaneous. He was incredibly lucky a coworker heard him fall and was able to pull him out right away.
Now, our second case is a completely different story. A 57-year-old worker on a hog farm in Portugal gets exposed to a sewer gas leak, but he doesn't collapse right away. In fact, it took a full 18 hours for severe symptoms to show up. This just goes to show you that H2S isn't always a sudden punch. Sometimes it's a slow-burning fuse with a devastatingly delayed explosion.
So what in the world is this gas actually doing inside the body? Whether it's that rapid knockdown or a delayed assault, the mechanism is the same. It's a brutal attack on our most basic biological functions.
Okay, so here's the science, and it's absolutely crucial. H2S causes something called cellular asphyxia. It gets into your blood and it blocks a critical enzyme that your cells need to use oxygen. Now, let that sink in. You can be breathing just fine, pulling air into your lungs, but your cells are literally suffocating from the inside out. Your body's entire energy system grinds to a halt.
In this cellular suffocation, it doesn't just hit one spot. Oh no, it goes for the organs that need the most oxygen first. Your lungs start to fill with fluid. Your brain, especially the parts that are always working hard, starts to suffer damage. Your heart function can get severely depressed. It's a horrible cascade effect that can very quickly lead to total multi-organ failure.
And here, this is where the invisible injury becomes, well, very visible. This is the chest X-ray of that Portuguese farm worker when he was admitted to the hospital. You don't need to be a radiologist to see something is deeply wrong here. That cloudy, hazy pattern, that's fluid and inflammation. His lungs are in really bad shape from the toxic gas.
And get this, just 7 days later, it had actually gotten worse. This shows that even after you're away from the gas, the poison's effects can keep progressing as your body is desperately trying to fight back. It's an intense, ongoing battle.
Meanwhile, the worker in China who collapsed so quickly, his brain took a direct hit. The first MRI found what they call softening foci, which is basically a technical term for damaged tissue in a part of the brain that's vital for movement. But look at this. A scan just 20 days later showed the damaged area was already getting smaller. It's a critical sign that even the brain can start to heal itself.
So you've got both of these men in critical condition. How on earth do you treat a poison that's suffocating your cells from the inside? Well, this brings us to the incredible,
uphill battle of recovery.
This, right here, is probably the most terrifying fact for the doctors treating these patients. There is no magic bullet, there is no antidote you can just inject to reverse the poisoning. It doesn't exist. This means the entire treatment plan is something called supportive care.
And supportive care sounds kind of gentle, doesn't it? It's not. It is an all-out, intensive war to keep the body going while it tries to heal itself. We're talking mechanical ventilators to breathe for the patient, powerful steroids to fight all that inflammation, diuretics to force fluid out of the lungs and brain, plus a whole cocktail of other drugs to manage everything else. It is a full-on, high-wire act of life support.
So after this incredible battle for survival, what happened to our two workers? The outcomes are just amazing, but they also teach us a lesson we absolutely cannot ignore.
Just look at this. The recovery of the Portuguese worker was nothing short of remarkable. On the left, that's his lung CT scan when he came in. You see that hazy, ground glass mess everywhere. Now look at the image on the right. That's just 3 months later. The damage, it's almost completely gone. His lungs are nearly clear. It's just a stunning comeback.
And here's the final proof. This is his chest X-ray from that same 3-month follow-up. Remember those first 2 terrifying images? Now look at this. The damage has fully regressed. His lungs healed. It's an absolutely incredible recovery from the very brink of disaster.
And the news is good for both men. The worker from China, despite that direct hit to his brain, he was actually discharged after just 1 week. And follow-up showed he recovered well with no lasting problems. So both men survived, which is fantastic. But, and this is a huge but, it brings us to the most important point of all.
They survived. Yes, but they never, ever should have been poisoned in the first place. These were completely preventable accidents. The source material is very clear. In the Chinese case, the man's employer gave him 0 personal protective equipment. None. He walked into that deadly tank wearing an ordinary raincoat.
So the critical takeaway here is that stopping this isn't some complex medical mystery. It's about safety and responsibility. And the sources lay out a simple 4-step solution. It starts with employers and governments actually doing their jobs to create safe workplaces. It means giving workers the right gear, like a proper breathing apparatus. It means having strict rules and actually following them. And finally, it means training people so they know what they're up against.
These 2 men were lucky. They were rescued, they got top-notch medical care, and they pulled through. But their stories are a massive warning sign. And it leaves us all with a really unsettling question. How many other people out there, right now, on farms and sanitation plants, at refineries, are walking into these same dangers, completely unprotected and unaware of the knockdown gas?